Welcome to The Hallway, the first podcast that motivates, provides insight, and guides students to become successful digital marketer before entering the workforce. Let's subscribe to the podcast to learn more about the digital marketing world with our host, Catherine Bowie. Welcome back to the show, Sky. So today we have a special guest, Heidi. So can you give us an introduction about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Heidi McIvor-Allen, and I'm the owner of McIvor Marketing. It's a personal and career marketing agency with a focus on digital. So I've been doing marketing and digital for over 12 years. I graduated from Central Michigan University, fire up chips. And I have an entrepreneurship major with a marketing minor. And I've worked in the media world where I oversaw 5 radio stations in Michigan. And then I was recruited to do the same thing in Atlanta for media. And then I was recruited to work for a digital agency based in Atlanta where I was at for 5 years as director of automotive before making the plunge to start my own company last year.
Oh, wow. So what made you decide, to start your own company?
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you learn so much and, I was very focused in the automotive space and I wanted some more diversity. And with my background being in entrepreneurship, I love helping businesses from step 1 all the way to growth. And I also found a niche that I was helping a lot of people with their resumes, updating their LinkedIn, and the best way I could figure to do that is, hey, let's try to go out on my own. I understand that when it comes to business, the only constant, whether it's professional or personal, it's change. And, we really live in a day and age where the lines are really blurred about managing your business goals and managing your personal and career goals. They both need attention. So I wanted to take the plunge, just like the butterfly effect. When you change one thing, you have the ability to change everything. So I'm looking to continue to share my knowledge and really come from a point of education to help businesses and career professionals grow.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I know you have extensive, experience in digital marketing, as you mentioned, right? 12 years. So based on your experience, what are the marketing trends that you have observed in 2021?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. I think one of the biggest trends, and I already kind of hit on this earlier, is that we're seeing a shift of advertisers where they're starting to spend more of their traditional media spend on digital. And personally, I do come from the media background, is that I believe that traditional will always be super relevant and needed when it comes to advertising. But I think one thing that COVID did teach us is that due to isolation, people are online a lot more than they were before, right? And so with that being said, we need to adapt. We need to change the way and the frequency that we're reaching people. And the most cost-effective way to do that is online. So that's the biggest trend. There are a few more. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think people are definitely shifting online, right? When you're in a lockdown, there's nothing to do, even your phone or you just are with your laptop, right? Mm-hmm. And I also noticed since the beginning of the pandemic, TikTok has become the most downloaded app and the 6th largest social network. However, some companies or digital marketers are still reluctant to use the app because TikTok is more just dancing or lip sync app. Mm-hmm. What has your personal experience with the app?
Yeah, definitely. So in my opinion, the TikTok platform, it really is still in its infancy stage for businesses. So, it just launched its auction platform this past year, and they're starting to create agency access, improve the targeting options that a business has to target its customers. And you and I both know that its popularity for that end user is, through the roof. People are on there all the time. But from an advertising perspective, outside of using an influencer on this platform, I think it's best positioned for brands that are large, that are chains, that have, a wider audience than just a single brick and mortar business. But with that being said, I do think it's something that you're already starting to see as you guys scroll through your TikTok. You're starting to see more advertisers present themselves. I think it's really important to see, okay, if there is an ad that I'm actually stopping on or I'm clicking through, why am I doing that? Is it the type of creative? Is it their messaging? Is it, how they're positioning their brand? How does it make you feel? And so I think that that's really important when it comes to TikTok. I wouldn't recommend it for every business just yet. It's kind of like with Facebook when they first launched their advertising platform. It takes some time, it's some trial and error figuring out how is it going to be a win-win situation, because it has the users. Now companies and the TikTok folks need to figure out, how do we make this work the best for everybody? And I have in front of me TikTok's roadmap that they had released in December, and they have some really interesting things in the works. And their big thing is about creativity because of the type of platform that it is. And it's all about partnerships. So it'll be interesting to see, they have some tools like their Discovery Hub, talking about engagement and amplification and things that they can do in real time to promote, whether interaction or, leveraging some of the tools that they have with some of the apps that partner with it. So it'll be really interesting to see how that all, their ecosystem and everything, evolves. But you asked me also about my personal experience with it, and I did work this past year, actually just earlier this year, with an influencer. Her name is Lexi Lately, if you guys follow her already, but she is known for her Venmo challenges, and she has like 1.3 million followers, and it was really fun partnering with her to try to find a car dealership to donate a vehicle for one of her Venmo challenges. A struggling mom whose husband was, not doing well, having 3 kids and having a 20-plus-year-old vehicle. So it was fun to see it from a different perspective on how you can leverage that type of a following and how you can utilize these influencers to really make change. And when her and I were working on that, she also shared, so she has an Airbnb that is in Nashville. That's where she's based out of. And she renovated her house to be like a bachelorette pad there's so many women that go there for their bachelorette party, and you have to bring so much stuff regardless of what type of Airbnb or hotel that you stay in, just to give it that feel. So she has like a Dolly Parton room. They painted a lot of pink throughout the house. She did one TikTok video showcasing her Airbnb, and it literally sold out for the remainder of 21 in 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
So if you partner with the right influencers, I mean, TikTok does have the capability, of being very beneficial, but it's, figuring out, what's going to work for you. And if you're listening and you're in school, I would recommend, take some time to learn these platforms. If you can get educated early on about how to create really solid videos, how you can measure the results of, is it working for somebody, you're going to be set up for success.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's like really, really great advice. Just like listening to you, I'm like, oh my God, there's like so many things you take notes. I wish I prepared the notes like right here for me, just like jot everything down, because that's like a nuggets after 12 years doing digital marketing right there.
Yeah.
I don't know about like other students, but for me, I think like Gary Vee is really relatable. I see that he consistently talked about documenting versus like creating contents, and also at the same time producing content consistently was the key to either build your business or just personal branding. And from your experience, do you agree with his advice?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I actually did not read that article prior to knowing about our podcast today. So I had to go back and read it. And I was really blown away, actually. It's really interesting, the take that he took on that. It's like talking about, the real world and the Kardashians, that just because you're documenting something doesn't mean that you're not creating content. So I think it was really insightful, and I would 100% say I agree with that. There are going to be times that you're going to have a great topic, like, what not to do on Zoom, or, random topics like that like you already have ideas. But a lot of people, it's hard creating content. They're not sure what to do. So document what you know. Learn your brand, and just start. If you come from a place like that, you're going to come up with some great content.
for like student, right? So how do you recommend students to use like social media such as, like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn to build their own personal branding? Because I feel like for company now, right, they don't just like look at your resume, they might look you up online, right? LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook to see like, hey, who you are as this person, not just like who you are when you're doing an interview with them. So how would you recommend them to build their personal branding across like social media?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. And I'm probably preaching to the choir already, but what's out there is out there forever. So when you're online, just make sure that you're being cautious about, if you are on a platform like Facebook where you have the ability to share it via public, where you see the little world icon versus just with your friends, just make sure you're cautious of, what you're posting on there, and would you want a prospective employer to see that, and how would they feel about you? And when we talk about that, potential employers, you already said it. I mean, they're not only are they looking you up on LinkedIn, but they're searching you online. They're going to see whatever's public out there. And the real question would be is, what does your online brand actually say about you? Have you ever Googled yourself? I tell this to people all over the country is, have you actually Googled yourself? Put your name in there. Don't just look on the first page, go 10 pages deep. What are you seeing? Like a lot of people that are my age, still might have some of the old social media spaces out there, their AOL handle or who knows?
Yeah.
MySpace, which was, it might be dating myself a little bit, but in reality, it is really good. I mean, I would recommend Googling yourself at least once a year to see what's out there, whether good or bad. And then if you're looking to find a job in marketing, talking about how do you manage your personal brand? If you're trying to find a job in marketing or any industry, start focusing on your LinkedIn now. The sooner you can do that, the better. It's really evolving as a platform to be a really good networking. A lot of people just think of it originally as just a place to find a job, but you're seeing CEOs of top Fortune 500 companies are on there, and then that just trickles down below that. So follow people in your field and start creating some content, start sharing things. Even if you're not creating something, share a good article that you saw, or a graphic or a quote, and give your take on it. Comment on other people's stuff that you're following. Start requesting to connect with people that are in your industry or at companies you might want to work at. You never know if they're going to accept you or not, but if you start focusing on that now, you're going to be setting yourself up for success going forward.
Yeah, that's like a lot of great advice throughout the podcast episode today. So in the future, we definitely would love to have you in another episode. But thank you so much for your time and just giving great insights for the podcast today.
Definitely. Yeah, it was a pleasure to be here. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to contact me. You can check me out online on my website at McIvor-Marketing.com. And then obviously you have my contact information, so you can reach out to her and she'll share my information if you have any questions.
If you would like to know more about Heidi, you can visit her website at McIvor-Marketing.com. The Hallway Podcast is released twice a month. If you like this episode, please subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.